This was my second time attending Middle Tennessee Anime Convention. After having a blast last year, we knew we needed to go back this year to make sure it wasn't just a fluke and that MTAC can truly deliver such an incredible con experience year over year. This is the official Convention Review's Middle Tennessee Anime Convention 2025 review. The size of MTAC is medium. This con is actually the biggest anime convention Tennessee has to offer, and you can really feel it just by the sheer amount of attendees. Even on Friday, it already felt like there were so many people at this con. When walking around, it really doesn't feel like it should be as big as it is, but this is not a small con. The location gets a 7.5 out of 10. MTAC is held in the Sheraton Music City and Embassy Suites in Nashville, Tennessee. Each hotel is accessible to the other by buses that run until 1 a.m. both nights. I think this is a rather unique setup for a con, and I do find it fun to change vibes at the con by just switching hotels. In the Sheraton, you can find main events, panel rooms, viewing rooms, the 2 dealers rooms, artist alley, and a pretty nice little courtyard that people love to hang out in. The majority of the con takes place in this hotel. In the Embassy, you can find all the gaming rooms and the charity booth. I personally enjoyed spending time in the Embassy a little bit more, because it's much more chill and the lighting's a lot better. But unfortunately, only a small portion of the con actually takes place there. I also want to mention that at all points in both hotels, there seem to be full water stations positioned all around the location, so no need to worry about dehydration. I actually lowered my score for location this year. Of course, the location didn't change, but unfortunately, my opinion on it has. I still think both hotels feel very nice, and I love the vibes they give off. And I still think even though their parking can be a little annoying depending on when you arrive, it really isn't that bad compared to other cons. And I still really like that both hotels have restaurants and offer food, so you don't need to worry about starving. But I feel like the con may have outgrown this space. The Sheraton felt packed this year. Lines on lines on lines everywhere we looked. Squeezing through Artist Alley and parts of the dealer's room felt worse this year. It really felt like a medium-sized con stuffed into a location meant for a small con. I'm not personally sure what can be done to help alleviate this, or if other attendees even really care, so let me know your feelings down in the comments below. Organization gets a 10 out of 10. I really think this is where MTAC shines. All the panels we attended started perfectly on time, and the production for all main events was beautiful. Staff seemed to be mostly on the same page about everything. Going through registration took around 1 minute, which is always amazing to see. Not to mention their app, which I'm happy to see make a return from last year. You can find pretty much all the information you need over the weekend on it, and it's often updated throughout the weekend, from events to maps to guest information. MTAC is truly a prime example of what good organization at an anime convention should look like. Well, other than one issue, but I'll talk about that in the staff section of the review a little bit later. The dealer's room gets an 8 out of 10. Highlighting how they've organized this con to deal with a lack of space, the dealer's room was once again split into 2 different rooms, with Artist Alley taking up a back lobby of the Sheraton. I really like this approach instead of just trying to stuff everyone in one small room that can't handle it. Last year I said that even when considering both dealer's rooms and the Artist Alley combined, it still felt a little smaller than what I'm used to seeing at other medium-sized cons, and I still felt the same way. Of course, this is unlikely to change just based off space limitations. I did knock off another point though for a couple of reasons. First, the Artist Alley just felt way too small and extremely cramped. I've seen significantly smaller conventions have easily double the amount of artists compared to what MTAC had this year. On top of that, the space Artist Alley takes up becomes so cramped with people that we weren't really able to get a very close look at everything until Sunday when we were about to leave the con. It feels the same for dealers. While merch quality can be a matter of opinion, I personally did think there was a pretty good variety of things being sold at the con, but again, they just felt so cramped. And again, there were parts of the dealer's room that felt really hard to even access unless we went right before they closed. But let me know in the comments what your opinion was on the dealer's room and Artist Alley this year. The game room gets a 10 out of 10. I really think gaming is one of the best things MTAC has to offer. Like the dealer's room, the gaming rooms are split up into a few different rooms based on type of game. For example, console games, music games, and arcade games all have their own rooms. It could be because gaming was located entirely in the Embassy, but it never felt like it got too crowded. Even though the gaming section was technically technically smaller than other gaming sections I've seen at similarly sized cons. This made it the perfect place to escape the crowds of the Sheraton and just relax. I also really loved the variety they offered. We always found something to play and had a great time every time we entered the gaming section of MTAC. Main events gets a 10 out of 10. Like always, it's impossible for me to attend every main event, but the ones we attended were all really well put together, moved at a good pace, and started right on time. The actual stage setup was beautiful. The lighting, along with the 3 screens to ensure anyone in the audience, no matter how far back, would be able to see, felt very professional. I also really liked how later in the con on Saturday, they opened up the wall between main events and this panel room, just deleting the panel room completely and adding its space into main events to ensure that more people can fit for the cosplay contest and the electronic dance party. I think personally my favorite event this year was the AMV contest. Let me know your favorite down in the comments below. Staff get a 9 out of 10. I genuinely think most all of the staff members are doing a great job with how they run MTAC. For most all situations, they felt very well organized and not too overbearing, at least for those I was able to come across over the weekend. They also seemed to fix the issue I saw last year of sometimes no one checking badges at dealers' rooms and some panel rooms. This seemed to be totally resolved this year, at least from what I was able to see. My main issue that I'm knocking a point off for is the official security walking around the Sheraton. They're all over the place, which, to be honest, is fine. I don't have any issue at all with trying to make the convention a more safe and secure environment. We live in crazy times, so I totally understand why they were there. I did have a few interactions with this security, however. Most were nice and understanding, but not all. Some were absolutely power tripping, which leads me to what I'm actually knocking a point off for. On the first day, I was filming myself talking to the camera in the Sheraton. After I stopped filming and was walking away, one of these security legit chased me down, pushing through my friends, demanding to see a media badge. I showed him my press badge, which at first he didn't even accept, and continued to get more and more aggressive with me, demanding a media badge, not accepting my press badge, which is the literal press media badge for the con. Eventually, I got him to take a closer look, and he finally recognized it and let me go. I got asked later on by a different member of the security team when I was filming in public in the Sheraton to show them my press badge once again. I also ran into a viewer of the channel that told me they were trying to film a little bit of the con, but just as an attendee, and when security asked them for a press badge and they were unable to show one, they were told that if they continue to film in the con, they will be ejected. I want to know if this is some kind of misunderstanding by security, or if the MTAC staff were actually telling them that no one is allowed to film in the con unless they have a press badge. Because if that's the case, I see this as completely unacceptable and unfair. Last year, I did all my videos for this con on a regular attendee badge. Videos I was thanked for again and again by staff and attendees for actually taking the time to show this con to new people. How can someone who's just starting up find their place to grow and learn how to properly promote cons in this way if a rule like this is in place? You can't expect every single person that wants to make a vlog or a music video at your con to get a press badge, especially people who are new, because they likely won't be accepted. If you don't have a certain amount of following, often you're not accepted for press badges at these sort of events. If they were doing the same thing last year, I would have been ejected from the con, and those videos I was thanked so much for making would have been impossible. This legitimately upset me deeply, but I'm only taking off one point in the hopes that this is a misunderstanding by security. But if I find out this is an actual policy by the MTAC staff themselves, I will not be supporting MTAC in the future. If anyone has more information on this situation, please reach out to me, and I'll pin a comment at the top of the comment section with MTAC's official policy on this matter. The electronic dance party gets a 10 out of 10. MTAC's dance party takes place at 9 p.m. on Saturday in the main events. It started perfectly on time, though the initial line took a little while to get through as they were patting down everyone that entered the room. The production was really beautiful and the DJ sounded incredible. All in all, I think MTAC really puts on a premier anime convention dance party that I have no complaints about, though I guess maybe it should be expected considering this con takes place in the Music City. I guess they take this stuff pretty seriously there. This was my second time attending Middle Tennessee Anime Convention, and although I had a few issues with it, for the most part I still found it to be a very high quality, well put together convention, and we all had a great time attending. I don't think anyone would regret spending a weekend at this con. At the end of the day, I maintain my 9 out of 10 rating that I gave MTAC last year. Some things felt better this year, others felt worse, but in the end it seemed to average out pretty much the same. I really think if this is a con you've been considering attending, next year you should just take the leap and go. You definitely won't regret it. Thank you for watching. and stay nerdy.